Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Drop it.
From the virtual cockpits to you, get ready to experience the peak of iRacing skill. We welcome you to the OB Builders Cup Series. Prepare for breathtaking speed, full commitment, and all-out action. The show starts now.
Tonight, the OB Builders Cup Series and Moonshiners visits the Windy City. Tonight, we count down to green as we get set to go road course racing once more, this time from Chicago, Illinois. Tonight, it's the Victory Designs 110. You'll see it all here on Ballin' TV. My name's Justin Pretzel. To the booth for tonight is Jeremy Miller. Our producer this evening is DJ Line, using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight, we're in the Windy City after a busy week of officials here It's time for Moonshiners' turn to be able to hit the racetrack as these drivers get ready to tackle Chicago, Jeremy.
Yeah, really difficult street course here in Chicago. Very challenging, narrow, a lot of walls. We're going to see some issues probably on the corner entry. Some people hitting the inside walls and some people overdriving corners that end up in tire stacks all night long.
It's going to be a battle with the racetrack around this 2.14 mile circuit, to say the very least. So far, when it comes to the playoff standings, they look like this. Mikey and Shane Davis still amongst the top seeds. 10 drivers, remember, have locked themselves in via wins. The cut line difference, though, just 11 points entering tonight, Jeremy. Gallimore and Taylor, that separation at the cutoff.
Yeah, an intense battle there. Gallimore some issues last week, allowing that to stay close and closing a little bit for Taylor, who's looking to have a good run tonight. Take a look at tonight's race. Analysts 55 laps here in Chicago with stages lap 15 and 30. 5 tire sets, but they're not going to use all of those, Justin.
Instim's actually at 50 for tonight, but regardless, it's still going to be at least that one stopper, as you said, for the fuel stints. It's going to be no concern on those tires here tonight. Now, remember, last time out, it was the time of eventfulness, to say the very least. And what I mean by that is, when we went last racing, it was a super speedway race. It was at Echo Park Speedway. It started with Jose Medina breaking through to set the pole downside. He didn't time up the start. In fact, he jumped the initial start. That got him black flagged and sent down pit road early. He never recovered that track position throughout the night. As the night went on, some drivers started to make contact as the outside was working with the lights off. Many drivers struggled with tire spin, though, down the front straightaway. Cox, hard contact with Gallimore. That set Gallimore back, as we talked about. It ended up going to coffee at the start. Brennan Mikey stayed out and then proceeded to control things throughout stage 2. After a lot of rotation on strategy and positioning, some of the drivers started making contact to the heart of the field. Better Place and Kane, for example, slamming into each other in the heart of the pack. That was in turn 1 and sparked one of the bigger crashes of the day in the back half of the field. All of that as well, Mikey led laps and would pick up the victory in stage number 2 at lap 80. And from then on out, it became a bit unpredictable as drivers started to snap loose, jumping on the outside.
Yeah, a lot of problems. Bad pushes, drivers in the wall here, like Sean Rogers there in the 44. Some teammates getting into it. We saw Dig really working, trying to get together, and just not a lot going right for them most of the final stage, which led to some interesting battles up front.
Chris Davis would take the lead with all the cycling meanwhile. It would become a race to the finish with him up the front of the field. Mikey tried to poke to the outside, couldn't get the run. And beat Davis up at the stripe, picking up the win. The 74 would take home the W. The Echo Park Speedway action under the lights. A good race overall for him. It helps his points positioning. He is amongst the drivers able to pick up some extra playoff points with that victory, Jeremy.
Yeah, a huge win for Chris. Obviously had the fuel mileage win at Michigan, but he went out and took it from everybody else at Atlanta. As you take a look at the race results, top 15 on the screen now. We'll see the next 15 finishers. You see Matt Cox finishing last week. He's looking to rebound here today.
Gonna need a rebound to be able to pick up some valuable points. We know how fast Cox is, but even with the victories, it's gonna be helpful for the postseason to pick up more and more victories and win stickers for your tallies. Drivers are just about done their qualifying sessions, by the way, here in Chicago. There's 27 entries that have made their way to the racetrack for the Victory Designs 110 tonight here in the OB Builders Cup Series. Mind you, the pole time, only 14 drivers attempted to get the All About Sheet Metal Pole Award. That award tonight, you'll see in a moment, went the way of a Chevy. So, the drivers now getting themselves all set to go here for tonight. Let's find out how they'll start. That Chevy I was alluding to is Kyle Holden this evening. Barry Sanders will start in second. Different 6/10 for the pole, mind you. Shane Wyatt starts in third with Kenny Coppola in the fourth position. Fifth spot goes to Sean Rogers. Brandon Fetterplace start alongside him. 1.3 seconds now the margin differential. Tim Wortman Jr. and a new driver we haven't seen much of, if at all, this season, Hunter Carmichael, makes a run tonight for Team Aero. And rounding out the top 10, Blaine Wilson and Corey Moore, 2 of the dig cars.
Rolling off 11th tonight in the 11, Paul Gallimore. I believe he's also 11 above that cut line. Some numerology there for him. He's joined by Chris Davis in P12, last week's winner. Starting 13th is going to be Jameson Middleman in the 16, and Johnny Shade rolls off 14th. Those are the last to put down times tonight, and the others will be set by iRating as follows: Matt Cox and Alex Coffey, 15th and 16th. Kevin Ruff and Tim Harper start 17th and 18th. And Jeffrey Taylor and Nick King start 19th and 20th.
21st spot goes to Nigel Christensen, should say, with Jose Medina in 22nd. Nicholas Atwood starts 23rd. Ryan Huff will be next to him. Ken Northray starts towards the back. The rest of the drivers are either not in session or late. Matt Metler, Jared Clark will start at the tail. Metler not in session. Same for Carmichael here tonight. So a couple drivers who at least took part in practice and or qualifying, not making the grid. Here's your AASM Pole Award setter once again. It's Kyle Holden in the Simrat Market car, able to set the advantage with a 126.424. He'll pace the field here tonight in Chicago. Overall, what are your keys to a good race here tonight? These drivers are getting 2 pace laps to get their tires up to temperature.
And the biggest key here tonight is going to be race to racetrack, an extremely difficult track to get around on your own. Don't get caught up racing your competitors too hard. If somebody's faster, don't put up the fight and put yourself in jeopardy. Let them go and live the fight another lap.
Who do you think is going to win a road course race like this, and why?
Yeah, Kyle Holden coming off our last road course victory is going to be a pretty good pick here, but I'm going to take Barry Sanders in 81. He's looked really strong in practice. Told us before the race, Justin, that he had to win tonight, was going to be very aggressive with the strategy to do so, and I'm looking for that to work out for him.
So, there's a wheel issue just here on the radio for Brandon Fetterplace. He just said that he was having wheel issues and is pulling off to the side out of this corner. So something is wrong with the wheel of the 34 car as well. Gallimore, Cox, and King reportedly are amongst the drivers that apparently have elected to start this race off from pit road. So have to make sure the technical situation's correct if you want to be able to perform here on the road course.
Yeah, what we're seeing from Fetterplace here, akin to what we see in real life with drivers re-indexing their wheels. You see the car blinking there, probably iRacing trying to configure the hardware with him pulling his wheel out and putting it back in. But he'll be able to go rejoin the track and take his position back, as they have not ELL'd that driver. So not something we typically see in the sim, Justin, but you know, no stranger to that in the real world product.
Indeed here. So, pace for another lap and a half here as we take a look from Shane Wyatt. See him laser focused to be able to have a good run. Had some good speed last time out in the past couple weeks, in fact.
Yeah, Shane was, in my opinion, the best pusher last week. They just couldn't ever get it to form on that outside line in the final stage. But when him and Alex Coffey were hooked up, they were going to the front every time. So definitely been showing some real speed on 23. Good qualifying effort here. So we'll see if he's able to keep that moving forward.
Talk with him real quickly here. Shane just jumped in the broadcast booth. So how are you approaching this road course race tonight as we pace in our lap?
Yeah, you know, generally I'm not very good at road courses, so I think a lot of guys had problems in qualifying, hitting the wall and things of that sort. So pretty happy with the track position, honestly. I'm going to try to keep up with Barry and Holden here and then see where we're at stages. And then, you know, we've got to win, so we got to decide if we want the points or the track position. And, you know, we'll play it ear by ear tonight.
So how difficult do you think this race is going to be in general? We've seen a lot of difficulty for drivers around Chicago this week.
Yeah, it's definitely what I noticed in practice is it's really slick compared to everything we've done this week. Track seems a little bit dirty right now as well. So I think the first couple of laps are going to be treacherous. Stages are fairly short, only 15 apiece, so we'll just try to navigate through these first couple of laps, get out of the dirt, get the tires heated up. Hopefully we can get into a rhythm and see what we can get tonight.
Overall, what's your prediction? Where are you going to finish?
Yeah, I always come into road course hoping for a top 10, so hopefully we come out here with a top 10 tonight, get some decent points, and then we'll move on to Sonoma.
Alrighty. Any shots you'd like to give before we get things started here?
Yeah, of course, the SimRap market, they support me every week, Precision Speed Solutions for the setup this week, so we'll see what we got here tonight.
Good luck on the start.
Thanks, guys.
That's Shane Wyatt getting ready to start things off in row number 2. We'll look to have a clean start for the third place spot. Can't confirm Hunter Carmichael did not make it back into the session. Same for Mettler. So we have 25 entries ready to roll here in the next few moments. And playing by ear seems to be the approach from the 23, if understood there, Jeremy.
Yeah, and it's definitely a fair approach on a track like this. And it's just so difficult for anybody. Even those most comfortable with road racing have issues here. So it's going to be a long race here, 50 laps to get it done. He's going to take care of that car, and I believe he can achieve that goal of a top 10 tonight.
So just about set to be able to roll here. Again, they'll approach things nice and calmly for this evening's SimRap Market start zone. It will essentially be in control of Barney per se around here tonight, since there's no technical restart box here around the racetrack. In real life, that restart zone is on the other side of this bridge. Some of the drivers like to wait until they come out of the corner to be able to roll. Stages 15 and 30 ready to roll here on Ballin TV. Victory Designs 110. Here they come for the SWM start zone. Green flag is out. We're underway for the Windy City. And here we go. Wyatt nearly slammed to the back of Holden. Locks it up as they make contact for third.
It was a very even launch for Barry Sanders on the outside of his teammate Holden. Holden gets away down into turn 2, and Sanders is going to be under threat from Coppola there. Sanders was doing a lot of tire warming on those out laps, trying to get the tires up to temperature to hold off on this restart, but he's under attack right now.
Sanders, meanwhile, able to jump to second. Team Aero car of Holden runs away by single file out of the way, turn 5. Better place after the wheel situation, already off to a great start. Up to 4th, looking for the attack for 3rd.
Yeah, we saw in the background there, it looked like, oh, major lockup for Coppola. He almost ended up in the tire barrier. I was going to say we saw some drivers in the background, blue turn 4 to start that lap as well. We saw them headed off into the access runoff there to try to save their race cars. But meanwhile, up front, Kyle Holden's already grown a 2.5 lead.
Looks like it's going to be potentially one of his nights to control things here, to say the very least, just based on what we're already seeing for Holden. But some of the errors going to have to fight here, such as Sean Rogers. He's in a choo-choo train. Tim Wortman Jr. behind, Blaine Wilson also behind him as they catch up with Corey Moore, with Moore already picking up 3.
Yeah, some early moving here on the first lap. Some drivers making mistakes, allowing that to happen pretty easily for a lot of these drivers. You saw Coppola, of his mistake, drop back to 5th after he had that battle with Barry Sanders and slid in the 3rd for a moment. But looking off the back bumper here, you see out behind Sean Rogers there, he's got some company as well. So a lot of drivers staying really close, tucked up early. We'll see how this tire wear goes and if these drivers can stay tucked up like this all night long.
Looking back at some of the battles, Nigel Christensen currently in front of this fight. That includes Norfray, a couple other drivers sorting themselves out of the back of the field, as there's Medina also doing the same thing.
Medina with some heartbreak last week after that pole position. Never really got a chance to race, just spent all night recovering from that penalty. And then it was too hard to make any moves really. You see Gallimore behind him. That car started in the pits and he's looking to move forward already.
are able to pick up a few spots. They didn't lose too much ground to the back of the field from the pit lane start, but they did lose their midfield starting positions, all the drivers who chose to do that strategy. Going more, able already to get to 18th. Matt Cox also trying to charge his way on through. Right now running 19th, and we've seen what happened to him incident-wise last time out. He's already picked up 2 spots this lap.
Yeah, good start for Cox, definitely here in the Jordan brand car here in Chicago, ever so appropriate in the 32. See Gallimore there was a little bit of a high entry. He's going to look to get under Middlemiss here. Middlemiss dropping back through the field early here, just trying to take care of that car.
Just trying to play carefully around the racetrack. Looks like Cox trying to force the issue in the backdrop. Able to get alongside in the background, able to make the pass as Gallimore works his way around in 17th now. By the way, Jared Clark, who was running towards the back of the field, just parked it. He is done for the night after 1 spin on lap 2, and he is now down pit road. So, some of the other drivers looking to move ahead. There is Coffee. Picks up a spot. We've seen Coffee do well at the Daytona Road Course earlier this year.
Yeah, Coffee was a competitor to win that race, just made a few too many mistakes and wasn't able to capitalize on Kyle Holden's mistake on pit road. So working through the field here early after not getting a lap down in qualifying, he's already up to P8, and he's going to look to get by Fetter Place as quickly as possible to settle in behind for his corner though.
Yes, indeed. So everyone in the choo-choo train already on lap 4. Fastest lap of the race so far. Barry Sanders, interestingly enough, just set it by a couple tenths of a second. Coffee, meanwhile, is running within 3/10 of that fast time. And the tough thing is, picking the spots, there's only so many places to pass. And it looks like Moore just had an issue in the 19, losing ground with a mistake coming out 2.
Yeah, saw some tire smoke off that 19. Definitely a bit of a lockup. Don't see any damage. He was able to avoid the barriers for now, so he'll be able to continue forward as we'll take a look at the RS Button Box's replay.
Yeah, the RS Button Box's replay for the first time tonight. See the brake rotors glowing red as he missed his corner. May have hit the wall there on the entry mark and ends up spinning him sideways. Meanwhile, smoke in the background. That's because Blaine Wilson, Tim Mortman Jr. just traded paint for 9th. They're able to stabilize as we continue to keep an eye on the gold car.
Yeah, Moore got out of that relatively unscathed. Definitely a little bit of damage done to that left rear of the car, as you can see right there. But it could have been far worse. Could have gotten the front fender or maybe even some wheel damage. But he'll be able to get that fixed later on when we get our first stage yells. He's wide again, gets the fence again though. He needs to get to that point with the car still in this shape to have that opportunity.
Holden's now moving up faster and faster to road that interval. Wow, in that back grouping, it looks like this. Lined up in a choo-choo train. And some of the teammates just trying to survive and be able to get to the stage points here, or at least to the point where they can take fresh tires if they still choose, and that's the one thing. Remember we talked about this around Daytona. Oh, a bit of contact. Christensen all over the racetrack. Norfray led on through. Christensen just lets everybody pass.
Bit of a hairy moment there for Nigel. I think he definitely just thought, I want to save this race car. Doesn't want any more of that battle. Everybody gets on through clean. These guys are in a pretty intense battle, though, for where they're running in the field. This is all for 15th with the 56 in Norfrey and those following in behind him.
So, a spin for the 24 on screen. Off going the wrong way around, and that's going to cost him all sorts of time, all the way back to 19th. Here's an RS Button Box's replay once again. He's in that choo-choo train towards the back of the field, just trying to make sure he made the corner. It turns 4 and 5 have been a challenge all throughout the week. So easy to make a mistake. Into the wall.
Yeah, he just had the throttle down too hard and put it straight on in the back concrete pair at the nose. Some heavy damage of a 24 car there. That's not going to be good for his evening.
Well, that's well. Coffee still maintains his running spot. Right now, right behind Fitter Place. Last time by, Coffee was 7/10 quicker than some of the cars in front of him. He is quick in this pack. In fact, he's your biggest mover so far in the race. Coffee up 9. Well, Norfray actually is up 10 as well. But you could see where the positions have equalized on the graphic.
Yeah, Coffee's still hunting down Fetter Place here in front of him. Has been following this 34 for quite a while right now. Obviously had the moment with his teammate there in the 19 that held him up for a little bit. They got back to the 34 now. Saw right there in that corner, though, a little bit of damage on the left front of that 54 car. So wonder if that's hindering his performance at all right now.
There's an air spin. Tim Wortman Jr. blocking the track in turn 7. Trying to turn things around in East Congress Plaza Drive. Able to get back going. That could have been dangerous.
Yeah, some heavy right front damage for him. We'll take another look at our Spenton Box's replay here. Almost hit the inside wall there entering this little section. He comes in here and he is just out of control over the bumps and noses it into the wall pretty hard. Luckily for him, he was far enough out of the racing line, though, that everybody was able to get by cleanly. Actually, nobody was really coming, but he was able to get back going, and he'll continue for now.
That slide will lose him some time, obviously, on the racetrack. Kyle Holden continues to lead, but the gap is back down again. Barry Sanders is giving him a good test here. They are teammates. But so far, Sanders has been able to keep up and be able to trade interval by significant margins to keep within range. He's gained 4/10 this sentence.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job. Meanwhile, a little bit further back in the field, you see Alex Coffey drop down your pylon. He had a spin, lost a lot of time, hit the wall with that car. Doesn't look like the damage is too bad, but not what he wanted early in the race here.
Small scrapes in the front splitter. That's about it. And can confirm he did drag that car against the wall. That's why there's scrapes. Here's a look on the R-Spun Boxes replay.
Hardest corner on this track right here of this section. So difficult. We saw the spin earlier with Huff, and here comes Coffey. Did the exact same thing, but he got it locked down a little bit quicker and was able to minimize that damage.
So Coffey once again showing what happened at Daytona in terms of attrition, in terms of mistakes. He's back to 10th. Just on that slide. Counting more for reference is up to 12. Right now trying to battle with Cox at the moment. Cox trying to stay lockstep with the 11 machine as we're halfway through stage 1.
Yeah, Cox has just been methodically working his way through the field. No reason to rush. You know, he knows he's going to get the caution at the end of this stage and the second stage, so he can take these positions as they come to him, and they've been coming to him pretty well. He's already up to 13th, and I don't think Gallimore will put up too much of a fight when Cox gets there, so that should be another position for him when Cox feels it's opportunity to take it. And they're going to follow down here in the turn 4. Just got to get through here cleanly, as we've seen some drivers having some serious issues through this section of the track. You see the brake rotor is really glowing on the 32 for that section too. Just so tough on the car through there.
Cox trying to switch up the line. Not able to dive his way to the inside. Still 43 laps to go overall in the race. So we are now on lap 9 officially. 42 to go officially. And one of the major things to keep in mind is these cars can handle some bits of contact, it seems tonight, Jeremy, but you obviously don't want to destroy the car. You don't want to be like Wyatt, where you're on the teeter edge of breaking that tie rod on the left front like he is there. That's going to obviously impact the speed. So right now, just battling with the car, it seems, if he add a lot of damage like we just seen with the 23.
Yeah, but 23 must have had a major issue that lap. He was quite a bit further up in our running order, fell back to Coffey, who we saw had the issue behind Wyatt earlier, now in front of him. So Something went wrong for the 23 as he's now going to fall into the clutch to Tim Harper as well. It looks like he might have some pretty serious damage on that car with the way his pace is looking.
Right now, she's building up for some of the drivers to say the very least, but take a look at this here. Again, another spin. He was running fourth. And wheel hop seems to be an issue for tonight, but not on the same corners you would expect. Usually it's entering that corner. It's exit that's been killing drivers.
Yeah, just Wyatt, they got all over the place on him. He almost had it caught twice and just overcorrects into that barrier, and that's where he lost all his time. He got some heavy damage on the left front of that car, and Tim Harper's still all over the back of that 23. Definitely not the pace that Wyatt had before he picked up this damage. Still inside our top 10 though, with Coffee climbing back forward right now. Just got by Corey Moore for P7.
Comes a drive to the inside line. Timothy Harper already has crushed in the front nose. Make a move. He is slipping and sliding his way on through pace into 9th position. The purple 42.
Yeah, some damage on the front of his car as well. We're going to see damage on almost every car at the end of the night. Maybe the only ones that have stayed clean to this point are really the two leaders running up front, Holden and Sanders. That gap has stayed around 2 seconds. I really do think Sanders has the pace tonight. He just needs to find the consistency to really take it to Holden, especially earlier in the run where Holden pulled that gap away on Sanders. But plenty of opportunity still in this race for Sanders to find that. 2 seconds at a road course is definitely something that I think a driver of Barry's capabilities can get, and you see he's pushing for it there. A little bit of a mistake out of that corner. Doesn't lose too much time though.
Christensen looks like absolutely demolished now, by the way, in the background. Yeah, he's letting cars go in his situation. So Christensen going to be very hopeful for the stage caution pretty soon. It's within about 5 laps this time by. 3 seconds once again the margin for the lead. That 20 machine is battling to survive in the background of Barry Sanders right now.
Yeah, he's been struggling a lot, not enjoying this race, I'm sure. Unfortunately for him, he's still got a lot of laps left too, as we're only 10 laps into this thing. But take a look at Kenny Coppola here. It's been a quiet night for 77. We saw in the initial start he made some moves, but just sitting here P3, nothing wrong with that. It's a great evening for him so far, and you know, he might be able to get some adjustments on that car under one of these pit stops and maybe get himself a little more competitive, see if he can find himself a little bit further up front later on.
Slide over the 77, still holds on to third. And these gaps starting to grow pretty significantly around the racetrack. Good race for Rogers, though. Able to still maintain the top 5. He's pulling away in fourth.
Yeah, Rogers is another driver. We haven't really talked about him too much tonight. We watched some battles off the back bumper of his car earlier, but he settled his way into fourth right now. You see BMP right there with some drivers up there, third and fourth, and then the Aero car obviously in second and first. So pretty good night so far for him, and fifth as well with better place. So Coffee, the first year dig cars in sixth. He has teammates behind him in Wilson, Moore, Harper, and Wyatt. So right now we got some diversity in the top 10, but they're kind of all grouped in with each other, Justin.
Yeah. So right now, just about the survival at this rate. By the way, as things settle on down, no other drivers have parked it for the night. Nicholas Atwood also, interesting enough, after taking part in practice, did not get rolling for tonight, but is still in session here at the racetrack. So 24 started, 21 still in the lead lap as we take a look at some of the battles on track. Rough. So far, no scrapes, no bumps. He's had good flashes of speed. He's been able to run in the top 5 a few times, and now he's losing the front end. Able to hold on to it out of 2.
Did a good job holding on the back car. You got a little bit loose there, so one thing you got to be concerned with here is those rear tires. They probably are a little bit heated up. You see, he's letting Taylor go. He's taking it easy. Knows those rear tires are probably heated. Seen somebody spins out of this corner, and he takes it easy there as well. So, lost some time, but better safe than sorry. It's going to allow Norfree to close in on Ruff, and he'll see if he can challenge for that position. Now, Norfree has had some issues of his own so far as well. You see a little damage to the right front of that car, but Kevin Ruff's car actually looks pretty clean right now. I don't know if he's hit a barrier yet. Oh, major contact for Gallimore right in front of him as we talk about it.
All over the places, people try and flip the stage. Monsto's yet to come down. Rogers and Fenner Place also staying out. 4 tires and fuel for the Team Aero cars. So they're going for the race win, not the points here. Timothy Harper also just entered his pit stall. So, should be coming around to a couple laps to go in the stage in the next moments or so. This is to be expected here on a road course to see drivers flip the stage like this.
Yeah, definitely expected. And as we talked to Barry Sanders before the race, he told us that is what he was going to do this stage. So, be interested to see if that's the strategy continues for him going on. He said he was going for the win tonight. And those drivers, both so fast and so far ahead, you look where they came out here, Justin. Kyle Holdens and Stefan, Barry Sanders in 9th. They're still going to earn stage points here, even with flipping the stage. A great strategy call for those 2 aero machines.
Still a good spot for those 2, absolutely. Now here we go. 77 does not come on down. 2 to go. Pit road should close here this time by. Pit road should be closed. So, well, stays out. Rogers, Fenner Place, everyone as expected. Able to keep on going here. Fenner Place looking to battle for second for the stage here. Just backing up his corners. He's one of the Team Aero cars not to fall on the strat. In fact, only 3, including Harper, Sanders, and Holden, elected to flip the stage here. Everybody else is going under the caution, it looks like, if they hit at all.
Yeah, it does look like those drivers will have to wait for the caution to make those stops, but I will throw an interesting wrinkle into this for you here, Justin. Fuel mileage here over 30 laps. That second stage caution is lap 30. Drivers could opt to stay out at this yellow, run the first 2 stages on the same set of tires, make 1 stop this evening during that second stage caution, or even flip that stage and pit before that caution. That may be something that these drivers are looking to do here. That would bury Sanders and Holden a little bit deeper in the field and have to make them work through some track position, which could be a real danger for those cars. A lot harder to run through traffic than it is out in the clean air that those 2 had earlier.
Indeed. Now, let's see quickly. Things are dispatched here. Place to go for Sanders. Want to go already taken in the stage by Coppola. Also have Christensen up the road in terms of the traffic jam. So like the 81 able to get the poke to the inside. Makes the pass. Moves up. That puts him back into 8th. Here's Rogers.
Rogers in front of Fenner Place here right now. That's for the second position. These 2 could end up having a battle for this position. They are close enough that Fenner Place could definitely find that gap in time. Road courses, the gap's ever so finicky. One little slip from the 44, all it will take. But Coppola, 5.5 seconds up the road from these drivers.
Sanders just had a car spin right in front of him. Christensen spun around. Christensen was then helped by Sanders. Sanders loses the spot to Wyatt.
Unfortunate for the driver of the 81. He's done so good here tonight. Christensen's been having issues all night long, and it happened at the worst time. You see it right there. He just lost it on his own. Nowhere for Sanders to go. I will say, though, Barry Sanders probably did the best you could possibly do to minimize damage. I don't see anything wrong with that 81 car. He might have gotten through that unscathed, Justin.
I think so, too. Not too many scrapes. In fact, none on the 81, but the 77 of Coppola staying out here to try and pick up the stage win. He'll take the green-white checker flag this time by. It's the 77, Kenny Coppola, taking the stage. Does so by more than 4 seconds over Sean Rogers and Brandon Fenner Place. The rest of the field very spread apart here. for these stage points. Once the notables...
Oh! I'm sorry, Johnny Shade, after Kenny Coppola just won the stage, Kenny Coppola slowly pacing around the track, waiting for the caution came out, just got nailed by the 45 after the 45 had an incident.
Wow. Wheel damage reported on the radio as things are popping up on the radio. Caution is out for the stage. RS Button Box replay. And this is something you definitely don't expect after you take the stage is a car to turn around or have an issue at the very least in front of you.
That is terrible for Kenny Coppola. He's having problems. Oh, he is relatively destroyed right now, Justin, and he is not happy on the radio. Not that Kenny ever gets too hot. You see on the replay right there, our Spot Box's replay, he just got obliterated by the 45. Johnny Shade just kind of throttled across the racetrack, and nothing Kenny Coppola could do.
Got helped around by Huff in the first place. Then floors it. Wow.
That's just not a fun situation for a driver. Kenny Coppola, like I was saying, not somebody that gets typically too hot on the radio. It didn't get too hot here, but you can hear the utter disappointment in his voice that his night has just been effectively ruined. What was essentially under caution for him at that point.
Field resetting under caution. Johnny Shade, by the way, has hit the wall several times over as well. So the 45 having issues too to get around to the pacing line. Let's take a break. Pit stop's coming up. Stage 2 coming up as well. You're watching the Victory Designs 110 here on Ballin TV.
An unknown germ is being blown around the world. It's highly contagious and it's reached plague proportions.
And you don't believe some of the dead have come back?
We woke up inside a play, counting down to Judgment Day. One by one they sell our souls, parasitic cannibals. Just the things you dug your grave. We will take till there's nothing left. Break, now we're seeing red. Burned hearts once were never again. Turning slowly into the living dead. Better pray, cashing out there's all the pay. Technicolor rock and roll, creature feature horror show. Flesh to bone, the world exposed. Tested fate, you dug your grave. We will take till there's nothing left. Break, now we're seeing red. Burned hearts once were never again. Turning slowly into the living dead. Fight our way through the static, psychosomatic. Take till there's nothing left. Break, now we're seeing red. Burned hearts once were never again. Turning slowly into the living dead. We woke up inside a play. Counting down to Judgment Day. Burned hearts once were never again. Turning slowly into the living dead.
Welcome back, everyone, to today's coverage here on TV at Victory Designs 110. Continuing on with the road course action here in Chicago, coming up to the restart. Right now it's Kyle Holden and Barry Sanders at the front with Timothy Harper, all of them flipping the stage to be able to get the track position for this restart. Wayne Wilson was the first person with a clean race car to come out of the pit lane, so he is lined up next in the order. Interesting night so far as we get ready for a restart situation. Should be wild to see how things figure out for some of these drivers in the mid-pack as they continue to get themselves settled on in here, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is definitely looking to be an interesting situation. Everybody pits, and nobody took that strategy option to stay out there. I think the tire wear was just too much for anybody to consider that. So Holden, Sanders cycle back to the lead here, as you mentioned. Tim Harper also sampling. Wilson first off pit road. Some of our contenders, though, Kenny Coppola buried in the field, still with some damage. So going to be interesting here. A lot of people running in different places than they were most of the race, and running around some cars they haven't been running around. That's always going to get a little dangerous here at the road courses.
So we're getting all set to go for the restart. Controls Holden. Team Arrow, in fact, 1-2. Johnny Shea picking up a black flag, believe, during this caution period, but it doesn't matter. Restart is underway. Back rolling as the 88 clears. Sanders backs up the corner. Harper sends it. Missing the corner is Holden. He gets turned around across the field. He slams the wall as well. So the leader, who's been in control all night, to the back of the field as now Sanders turns around the 44.
This race just completely changed. Holden with a big hit. Rogers turned by Sanders. Harper to the lead. We'll take a look here at the R's button boxes replay. So much to unpack, Justin.
Take a look. Harper sent it just like the 88 did. Holden, I think, might have been getting loose regardless. Gets helped around by Harper. Then pandemonium ensues. 3 wide the next corner. Something had to give, and instead it's the 44 that gets side spun. So as a result, Kyle Holden is in 16th. Timothy Harper is the leader over Blaine Wilson.
Sanders out of that relatively unscathed. Obviously had a few incidents there, but he's in P3 and had to recover some time. Holden working through his traffic now. Not too much damage, if any, to that 88, but the bigger danger now is he has so many cars to pass, and these are cars he has not seen all night long, and these are drivers who he's been seen having issues on their own, so he needs to be very careful picking his way through his traffic.
A lot of drivers trying to just let him on go here, knowing his rapid speed. Oh, King getting squirrely down the middle of the straightaway, hit the wall. People having some issues with that bridge tonight as some of the others like Ruff try and battle with drivers like Gallimore. Gallimore making the move, Coffee on the outside.
We'll see Holden catching Coffee. Those two had an epic battle at Daytona, so once Holden gets through these two drivers here, although Cox is no slouch driver, might take him some time to get past that one. See if those two can put on another show for us. And Coffee showed he had the pace earlier, just made some mistakes, and obviously still some damage on that machine, but that could be something that holds up Holden even more, as that might not be such an easy position for him to pick up. See Rogers up the inside of Chris Davis there, and Brandon Fetterplace follows through as well. Davis slipping back a few positions now. Corey Moore is going to look for that position as well.
Looking at some of the others in the lineup right now. Rogers in the group, Fetterplace right behind. Oh, and some smoke in the background. Didn't get the exact car number, but I do know there's a lot of smoke kick-up being brought up. That was where Gallimore was battling at the moment. Can't confirm that's because Kenny Coppola missed a braking mark and spun it into a tire barrier.
Yeah, I also, I jinxed Coffee. Right after I mentioned that might be a difficult situation for Holden. Well, Holden got by him because Coffee nailed the wall and destroyed that car. A little verb on the opposite side. Nick King with a spin through the carousel section. Congress with the fountain. The outside wall for the 12 machine. Doesn't look like it's too bad a damage, but he's going to be limping back, getting going here, trying to find a spot in line.
Take a look at the RS Button Boxes replay. This is King we're looking at. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened to this car. Oh, big bump on the curve, right on the road. Spun him around.
Coppola around, into the wall, hard for the 77. He is stopped. I think he's towing. He is. His night is over. Oh, Kenny Coppola's night just fell apart after damage. Nothing of his doing. And then here it just gets even worse.
Well, the 77's race goes from bad to worse after picking up the stage win, of course. That would have given him good track position for stage 2. Instead, hippity hop. Around it goes. Some of these drivers reporting the race was 7 minutes damage, but Kenny Coppola obviously having things bubble over.
Yeah, I think it happened out of turn 2, so we'll see him get through turn 1 here. He's behind Paul Gallimore in front of Matt Cox. He's holding behind them, trying to work his way back forward. Got through 1 okay, everything's looking fine on the 77, but he comes down here into turn 2, gets through the braking zone completely fine. Just too aggressive on exit, it goes around, and that is a massive impact. His night is over.
And it looks like Ryan Huff hearing on the radio now just lost it. Still keep going though. Get up front. Barry Sanders trying to pressurize Blaine Wilson. Wilson lost time by, lost half a second for the race lead, but is still maintaining as Alex Coffey just had to pit for an issue.
Yeah, Coffee down pit road. Shane Wyatt out of the session. He's out of the race now as well. Things are just going off the wire here right now in the second stage. This race is completely shifted. You look up inside our top 10, holding down there a ninth. Some names that weren't up front running up there. You see Coffee on pit road, heavy damage to that machine. Kyle Holden working off the back bumper. The 11 of Paul Gallimore. This is for the 8th position.
Lots happening. Capital Rough had spin last time by as well. A lot of drivers starting to have issues.
Oh!
Second spot, Blaine Wilson just piled in. Ruff just had an issue as well. Blaine Wilson has just towed from second position.
Everything is happening everywhere on the racetrack right now. Matt Cox locks up, gets into Paul Gallimore. They go into the tire barrier. We're seeing our spot boxes replay there was Kevin Ruff. He had an issue. We'll take a look at this one though. You see Holden got by. Matt Cox is way back here. This was way too aggressive of a move, Justin.
You said on the radio, apologies don't fix my car repairs.
Also saw Blaine Wilson from second, as you mentioned as well. He had an issue and he towed. He's done for the night as well.
From second, and Sanders is demolished on the front end. Again, had an incident in East Congress Plaza Drives area in turn 9.
Yeah, Wilson hit that inside wall in the entry where it gets really narrow into 8. Shot him back into the other inside wall as you'd come back left. Just nowhere for Barry Sanders to go. It's Gallimore having an issue now. We just can't keep up with this. These guys are going absolutely crazy on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, a lot of incidents are starting to stack up here. Center Place now has damage. Rogers just trying to survive, scrape the wall. Now has Jeffrey Taylor to the inside. They get by the lap traffic cleanly. Somewhat, yes. Able to slip on through. Rogers in line for a podium at the moment. Taylor had been in the third spot and had to let them go.
Yeah, Taylor had the incident there, got in the wall. And Rogers had an incident too there. Take a moment here, just looking at things. Slow things down a little bit here. Tim Harper up to a 4.5 second lead. Something just happened there in the background. I think Taylor went around. Sanders' fall damage show has been closing in a little.
Hold on, Taylor just got hit with Holden. They're in the stack up. Holden just got heavy nose damage to the front end of his car. And another hit happening. Another RS Button Boxes replay to look at. Yet again, stack up after stack up.
Replay's getting a workout tonight as we have been looking at everything. Hit the inside wall, just sent him around. What? Oh, some contact there. Oh, and Holden got it too. And then he just drove himself into the wall. I don't. Maybe some frustration there out on the 9. Is it a full moon tonight, Justin? This is. I know it's a street course, but this is beyond chaotic.
It's a day race too, by the way. You know that, where it's cloudy, very cloudy. Hey, look at the bright side. It could be rainy. I'm surprised they didn't have rain sparkle up here, based on Chicago's trends. All this is with, by the way, still about coming to 5 laps to go in the stage. It's been crazy, stage 2 so far, to say the very least. May be able to survive a little longer is going to be the huge question mark for a lot.
We've seen out of some other drivers.
Yes. So, they look to steady on down here. 24 to go at the stripe. Taking a look at some of the others. By the way, back in the race, it appears, is the 54. Coffee had gone down pit road for a little while, I believe. He's got Christensen right on behind. Coffee, multiple laps down. Christensen right now maintaining his pace as the last car on the lead lap, in fact.
Yeah, Christensen actually really important to Coffee right now. Coffee in the free pass position where he's currently running. Christensen over a minute off the lead. You see the leader just there off the back of our screen. Closing in on Nigel Christensen. Coffee cannot afford just 20 to get lapped. Maybe the best move for him to sit in place right here, and when Tim Harper gets to him, play a little defense, keep Tim Harper behind himself. But that's risky because if Tim Harper gets past you, you're down another lap. It's a really tough situation to be in right now here in Alex Coffey's shoes.
Good driving by Harper to the stage as there's so the drivers slip at the stage and are getting repairs done. Tim Wortman Jr. is in for scheduled service, off and away with his damage still to be repaired. He's at the tail end of the lead lap. He might not be able to take advantage of this flip unless he's able to pick up a lot of time on the pacing line. Coming up to 3 to go on the stage this time.
See if any of our leaders pit this time. Barry Sanders in the pit road. Harper stays out. He can pit next time by. Obviously, as the leader, he gets to pit coming to the stage, to the green white checker. Rogers stays out. Fetterplace stays out. Those drivers will stay out for the stage points here. Holden in as well.
Continue on with the action with more stops as expected by the Team Aero cars. They've flipped the stage again, by the way. Sanders and Holden have kept that up on their call. Gallimore moves up to 7th. There's a look at Sanders off and away. Simple 4-tire stop. He's not getting the damage fixed, it looks like, for now. You can take some time with how big the intervals are around here, but it looks like Sanders risking it with the damage.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Barry to be in. Not really a right decision or a wrong decision. He's going with the track position, hoping the car will be good enough to hold on. For his sake, I hope he's right and can put on a good battle for us. Holden as well didn't seem to really repair any of the damage there. Just made the pit stop, got the tires and fuel, came back out on track.
Closing stage here. Timothy Harper just pit from the lead. Harper, right before pit road was to close, did come on down. So the 42 will not take the stage lead for the line. Sean Rogers now takes over the stage lead with pit road should be closing here.
It'll be a stage win for the 44, barring any issues. Only a second ahead of Fetterplace, so it could definitely be a battle on our hands there. As Fetterplace looking in the same kind of boat he was in the previous stage. We take a look at Matt Cox behind Taylor right now. Taylor's had some issues, and he's still running P4 right now. It really shows you just how much the entire field has had issues. We've documented the 9 in the wall pretty hard, lost a lot of time, and yet here he is in a really good position for our stage.
Right now, Cox trying to take an hour stage point before that green and white checker flag comes out at least. Taylor maintaining for the time being, though, despite Cox continuously gaining lap after lap. Cox before had more than 2 minutes of damage repair during the previous caution sequence. Just seems like he can't find a way to get the run to be able to close up enough to be able to make the dive and be able to make the pass here with how things are going.
Yeah, just struggling a little bit off the back of the 9. You see some damage on his machine as well, obviously, and still a good run right now, though. P5, it'll be some good stage points for him after starting a little bit further out back, so he'll definitely take that, and, you know, all the points in the bank are positive, Justin.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like we're at the one to go for the stage as Cox does get sent up, and Taylor loses it. Taylor spins it out. Gallimore picks up a spot for good measure. Cox indeed does move up to 4th as Barry Sanders sets the fastest lap from 9th.
Well, yeah, I guess Barry Sanders' car is pretty okay. Even with the damage, it's a really good lap time out of him. He just passed Norfree for position. See some tire smoke up here in front of our leader. That's Nigel Christensen. We talked about this. This is huge for Alex Coffey. He cannot afford for the 20 to get past right now. I just don't think the 20 has the pace to hold all that 44. Now he does. He's going to let him go. Oh, the 44's around! Into the wall. Harvick is Fetterplace to lead in the stage win.
BMP machine going around in a bad spot. He floors it into the wall. Team Aero's Brandon Fetterplace takes the lead on the stage. Rogers has picked up a meatball flag. It is not turned around yet. He is stuck in the middle of the racetrack. Gallimore bounces off the wall to avoid. All while Brandon Fennerplace comes out of the final corner. Green-white checkered. Stage 2 goes to Team Arrow.
Sean Rogers driving it around with the meatball right now. He'll be done for the night. Meatball, your night is over. Got Barry Sanders behind him. Your barrier just hoping that he's careful. I think Sean's just trying to finish the stage, get the points he can before he parks it for the evening after that incident.
He's been keeping it clean all night. Not anymore. Rogers crosses all the way down at 8, so Fennerplace, Moore, Cox, Gowan, Moore, Taylor, Harper, Sanders. Oh, and Rogers just floored it into the wall and rage quit. Godfrey and Holden just crossed the line and Rogers floored it.
Definitely a pure moment of emotion there from the 44 as he just full throttled the tire barrier and he called his night's quit.
I guess ended in style, am I right, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. Probably if you're Barry Sanders here, you weren't too thrilled seeing that in your mirror. I think Rogers broke a little to make sure he didn't take out the 81, but I mean, you see the way that car snapped back towards the next turn. Not necessarily worth the risk of potentially ruining somebody else's evening.
On laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome everyone to Chicago for more coverage of the Victory Designs 110. The OB Builders Cup Series continues on in what has been a night for some. So far, the DNF list featuring most of the dig cards, in fact, tonight, except for Corey Moore. North Ray had an incident during the caution period, came down recently. Christensen crashed under caution. Rogers, of course, entered the DNF list. William Wilson did come back out of the racetrack. Jameson Middlemas as well, amongst those that have had some of the issues, not including any specific teams. But it's Timothy Harper, Barry Sanders, and Kyle Holden were up front after all of them flipped the stage. Then also doing so was Tim Wortman Jr. Brandon Fetterplace starts off as the first one with fresh tires, or the freshest tires, should say, down about 5th spot with Jeffrey Taylor. So we look to see what happens with about 16 laps to roll here. Temperatures, by the way, a little more cooler here on the street surface. 89 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. Our temp maintains itself at about 78 on overcast skies. Green, 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 back underway. 16 to go from Chicago.
A little bit of contact through the restart zone among our two leaders on the front row there. 3 wide, a little further back here. Gallimore looking for a way around, but he'll pack back in line. Up front, though, Harper keeps the lead, headed down in turn 2.
A little bit of bumping and banging with King back there with Matt Cox in the battle for the top 10, but now it's a true test. Can Harper maintain up in front for Dig in what's been a hefty night? Oh, somebody crashed hard there.
That was Holden. He's done. He's done, Justin. That was one of our main contenders to win the race. He is out of the race.
Take a look at the RS Box replay and was wondering of when would somebody make that mistake coming down South Lakeshore Drive into East Roosevelt Road. And, well, we just got our answer.
Yeah, we've had 2 restarts this evening, and on both of those, Holden has made a mistake under braking. The first one was in the turn 1, this time in the turn 4 terminal contact there. Huge hit for the 88. He is done. It is Tim Harper and Barry Sanders up front now battling to win this race.
Favorite in terms of speed, no more in terms of that run. We keep going here, coming to 15 laps to go. Barry Sanders could truly get himself a win here for the boss man. He's keeping pretty close to be able to provide pressure to the 42.
I just feel that damage is too much. The left front of that car is really, really hurt, and I just doesn't look like he has the pace he had earlier. Tim Harper obviously has some damage too, like not just completely driving away from Barry Sanders here, but Barry Sanders definitely not driving as well as he'd like to with that damage on the race car.
See how fast they can try and close up. Last time by 127.8 when it comes to Harper. Sanders 128.2 to begin their runs during this stint. By the way, give a shout out to Corey Moore. He's still surviving up in the top 5 also. So some cars have had a whirlwind of a day. Then you have drivers like Harper and Moore for Dig that have survived for decent runs here.
See Alex Coffey there in the 10th position. He got a lucky dog under that previous yellow back into the battle of things here. Didn't quite catch the field on the restart, but already picking off some drivers up the P10. Only our top 13 currently on the track.
Yeah. He maintained coming out 14 laps to work with. All things hold on. Fastest lap, Harper picking up the speed. Continues to get the yardstick out by a few tenths of a second over Sanders. He is flying out here to try and pick up a win. And mind you, when it comes to the playoff standings, he is not amongst those that have gotten locked in. In fact, believe he was amongst those not in the eligibility for that previously, based on what was seen on previous graphical looks. He is outside that top 20.
Yeah, Tim Harper not eligible for the playoffs here, but a win is a win. He would definitely like to get it done. Barry Sanders behind him, though, still keeping touch in that 81. It's going to be really interesting to see how the tires where if Barry can take care of those tires, he should be able to overcome that damage difference between him and the 42. I do think Barry just has a bit more raw pace than Tim Harper, but Tim Harper with the cleaner race car.
Harper still has the front nose damage though, but hasn't gotten any chance to fix it throughout this night. And now, he's looking to try and make his way steadily on through here. For those wondering here, well, I guess that's a saying you could say when it comes to Harper. He is the playoffs. No, he is fast. So far, Shane Davis came in tonight as the leader in playoff points. Then Brandon Bikey, followed by Alex Coffey, Matt Cox, Chris Davis. So a lot of drivers that enter tonight in terms of stage wins and wins, looking to pick up a lot more playoff points as the night goes on.
Yeah, definitely some opportunities here for a lot of those drivers. See Coffey right now, he's working his way forward, trying to get some more positions off the back of Jose Medina. That'll be another point for him if he can pick up that position from the 48. Medina's been quiet tonight, done a good job taking care of his race car, still out here when a lot of others have had issues, so good job, pat on the back for him. Running P9 right now, battling Coffey, who's been one of the fastest cars on road courses here. He's just going to let him by.
Yeah. Why not at that point? Coffey is on the lead lap with the Lucky Dog, by the way. So he is up tonight in a beaten, battered car. Next car is 8 seconds up the road, a ways away up the racetrack.
Yeah, a lot of that for Coffey is just not being able to catch the field when they got that restart going, which was unfortunate for him, but still fortunate in the sense that he got that Lucky Dog, was able to recover somewhat in this race to get a good finish out of EC Gallimore and Taylor. These two have been around each other for quite a bit so far this evening. They're in the 7th and 8th positions, battling a little bit of an island on their own.
See right now, things for the leaders still keeping close. Sanders, last time able to equalize. He's been consistent, Sanders has, in the 127.3s. Doesn't have the hot lap time, but he's got the consistency to be able to make his way around the racetrack, it seems, says the boss man.
Yeah, he just needs to get close enough to Harper to force a mistake out of the 42. It's going to be really tough for Sanders to make the pass, especially with that damage. He still looks a little bit faster than Tim in certain spots of the track, but like right there, Tim just gapped 2/10 in that corner, so that's somewhere where I think Harper's car is just working a little bit better than Barry's right now, but Barry's keeping the 42 honest. The 42 makes one little slip here and there, but race could definitely be on for the lead.
We'll see. Coming up to 11 laps to go. Still within 1 second on the margin. Then you have a battle pack for 3rd, a battle pack for 7th, a battle pack for 12th around this racetrack. Overall, how would you say things you think have gone here in Chicago after we've seen a calm stage 1 per se, a turbulent stage 2, now we're seeing a calm stage 3?
Yeah, it was just a really, really crazy stage 2. So many drivers making mistakes, a lot of self-inflicted, and some other drivers making some poor choices, negatively affecting other drivers' races, really beginning at the end of the stage 1 during the cooldown lap for Kenny Coppola. Just kind of set the race off the rails, has really turned things on their head, and Tim Harper right now, the benefactor, starting to stretch that lead out.
They're really trying to go for the gaps right now. Better place. Looking to go for the spot on the gold car. Not go for gold and go for 4th. Maybe 3rd. He's, at this point, I think better place. It's one of the few that's got a clean car. Well, I should say he's got damage. I think every car has picked up at least one hit tonight. Everybody's at least picked up one spin, one ding, except maybe no one else. Everybody's gotten damage tonight. I've gone through the whole field. Everybody's gotten damage here.
Yeah, congratulations to Matt Metler and Hunter Carmichael by not starting this race. They'll be the only two to compete it without incident points, it looks. So everybody's had some issues at one point or another here this evening, and Tim Harper goes purple again that lap. Harper setting down really good lap times right now, stretching that lead away from Barry Sanders.
Okay. Things look to be settling on down now. Less than 10 laps to work with here from Chicago. And now Feder Place pushing as hard as he might. At this point, what do you do to try and find those little bits of time to be able to close up here and have a shot for these positions?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just about... Oh my! Tim Harper around. Barry Sanders lead. This race has changed yet again.
Timothy Harper looked to be in control. Not anymore. He steps Ron out of turn 6 and loops it coming around East Balboa Drive. An unbelievable moment yet again in this race. Another incident for the leader.
Just got in there a little bit hot and then was kind of out of control over the bumps and nosed it into that inside wall. And had some struggles getting it back going as well. Lost even more positions. You see he's going to probably end up rejoining behind Matt Cox from the look of things. You didn't even have, it's just such a rough mistake for Tim Harper. He wasn't under any pressure. He was stretching the lead. Probably didn't really need to be pushing that hard, and he's kicking himself right now, I can guarantee you.
And that's now put Sanders into the lead, and he is in position to be able to lock himself into the postseason if he has no mistakes now. Take a look right now at one of the other battle packs that are starting to form a little bit. This is Davis, last week's winner, trying to find a way to get back to King for 12th.
Quiet night so far for Chris Davis. Haven't seen him too much. Saw him with a couple issues earlier, letting some cars go and just trying to keep the car straight. And, it's a good strategy. Most of the field hasn't kept the car straight, so just by doing so, he's going to get a good finish out of this race.
Yeah. Able to survive top half of the field. What else can you say other than hooray? It's been an attrition-filled one for some. Now, Corey Moore and Ben Feder Place are battling instead of for 4th. It's for 3rd. So Moore trying to keep himself mistake-free. He's been mostly mistake-free in these battles. 8 laps to work with at the stripe.
Yeah, these drivers still starting to settle into the end of this race. Got a few battles like the one we're looking at here with Feder Place and Moore. You have 4-second lead for Barry Sanders over Tim Wortman Jr. in 2nd. Matt Cox just off the back bumper of these two. Maybe could get to them by the end of this race. And right there in P6, Tim Harper, a heartbreak there. Had the race under control, just only himself to beat, and he managed to put it in the wall.
Chaotic, to say the very least, for some. Now the calmness starting to flow through this race as we come around to 7 laps to go this time. Right now, Moore, you can tell Moore's almost babying this car to making sure there's no mistakes. He doesn't want anything to happen here.
Yeah, and I think that's a wise choice from the driver of the night team. Who loses out to Feder Place P4 would be a great finish for him tonight. So nothing to push for as we'll take another look at our spot boxes replay here. We'll see what happened to the 32 of Matt Cox. A little loose there, Justin, but did a pretty good job holding on to it.
Able to maintain now 7 up at the board. Cox still in the top 5. Lap traffic ahead. Nigel Christensen moves on to the inside. And no issues to be able to get around the lap traffic this time. Continue to steady their way around here. Yeah, that interval for the race lead, 3.8 seconds, by the way. Sanders is cooking to be able to close things out on the interval.
Yeah, Wortman's been just a little bit quicker here. I think Barry might just be taking it easy, though, knowing he has such a large lead to work with right now. Not a reason to push himself into a mistake like we saw to the 42 of Timothy Harper. So Barry right now still just under 4 seconds ahead of Wortman. He's shrinking every so slightly. A few laps here. He'll probably shrink a couple times every lap and just grew right there. So maybe Wortman had a little slip, or could just be something with the corners to the road courses throwing the intervals for a loop.
Track so very tricky, it seems, when it comes to some of the runs. Absolutely. No major mistakes have popped up, no major story marks. Side of just surviving. Moore has gained 7 spots from where he originally qualified, mind you, to get to where he's at. Plenty of others are at plus 12, like Harper, like Taylor, like Medina. In terms of some of the runs, more so plus 11 for Harper and Taylor, specifically in Medina. But all the numbers are there to say survival has been key all night. We're seeing why. Tim Wortman Jr. just lost a bit of time because he had a bit of a slide. Not too much, but he is falling slowly into the range of the battle for third.
Definitely falling a little bit off of that lead from Barry Sanders, starting to back out just ever so slightly now. The only issue for the 81 now could really be lap traffic. He should catch Nick King before the end of this race. Probably shouldn't catch anybody else though, but just going to want to be careful getting through any cars that he has to get by. We just saw Chris Davis let the leader by very respectfully out of last week's winner, letting Barry Sanders continue on through.
Sanders coming up to 5 laps to go, mind you. All he has to do is keep it clean, stay out of lap traffic, which has been a problem for the leaders tonight, and then be able to finish things out strong. Lap cars ahead are Middlemiss, King, and then it's clean space for a while after that. Remember, the reason he's got the damage is from lap traffic. It's going to be a matter of just hoping there's no one spinning in front of him to be able to keep it clean.
Yeah, you see one there up in front of him right now. Not quite sure which car it was, didn't quite catch it, but looks like Barry Sanders coming up on Jamison Middlemiss into 16, so Barry asking for a spot. We'll see if Jamison obliges and lets the leader on through. And he will.
To get on through here. And now, at least it's 4.5 laps to work with. Taylor and Gallimore, by the way, holding on to 7th and 8th respectively, are the closest battle of the racetrack on the racetrack. Gallimore trying all his might to close up the gap. Last time by, Taylor lost a bunch of time in the 131s.
Yeah, these drivers have not had clean nights respectively. Every one of them have made their own mistakes, been parts of others' mistakes, and right now they find themselves in 7th and 8th, though good recoveries from both of them, and they've managed to lessen the bleeding from their mistakes and some of the others. You see Taylor with another little slip there in front of Gallimore, to allow that gap to close in ever so slightly more. These two, by the way, Justin, this is the battle for the cut line for the playoffs right now. Jeffrey Taylor came into this race on the outside looking in just behind Paul Gallimore. Only one position ahead of him, not going to be a massive swing in points, but this, you know, at the end of the season, it's a 1 or 2 point gap. This could be what we look back at as the deciding factor on who makes the playoffs.
Yes, indeed. Looking back up front again. Sanders just maintaining and driving. Just keeping it clean. That seems to be the mindset right now. Just surviving seems to be the key for car 81 here. Coming up to 3 laps to work with around Chicago. He still maintains a 4-second lead. Again, King is the nearest car. Outside of that, clean sailing for Sanders to be able to survive to win this race.
Survive will be the key here all night long. That's what he's done best. Been in a few incidents, only one of which gave him damage, but he still survived further than anybody else to this point. Has a 4-second lead to reward himself with it. Just needs to manage that as he comes to take 3 to go here in Chicago.
Just swiftly moving on through. This would be a big shuffle for the standings. As said, coming into tonight, Sanders had been the 14th place car in those standings. This would lock himself in. Don't believe this will change the cut line, as you would see from that. But it would mean now 11 locked in via victories. And it puts upward pressure on drivers like Wilson, like Wortman Jr., to make sure they keep scoring points, but also one less spot for those above the cut, under the cut line, to be able to try and get themselves in on points.
Yeah, and there's a few other drivers that I think are more than capable of winning races that have not yet this season, most notably to meet Tim Wortman Jr. We've seen him knocking on the door several times. Once again this evening, he is the bridesmaid currently. Still time for that to change, but I think that's another driver who can find himself in victory lane before things are done over with. And here's Brandon Fetter placed behind him. They're going to have a battle for second on their hands.
Now, there's only 2 more circuits around here, only about 90 seconds a lap. 3 more minutes of racing to work with. Wortman Jr. in Fetter place. The battle for third. Moore has dropped on back. There's a lot of issues. So here we go. Can Fetter place gain 1 more spot to be able to try and get a second? Less than 2 laps to go from Chicago.
Better place pushing his car really wide there. Definitely aggressive right now with all the inputs on that machine. They're both closing on Barry Sanders right now, who I think has backed off the pace, knowing he has such a margin to these drivers. Doesn't want to make a mistake. They're going to close in here through this little drive-through section. Double right-hander there. Very difficult coming down the straightaway to turn 6.
Can they get a send alongside? Not yet. But they are almost to the bumper. They get a bit physical for this spot or keep it clean. Now Fetter place, hoping for a mistake to be able to open the door, take away this spot and gain some extra points. Come, making the way through East Congress Plaza Drive. Coming up to the white flag this time by, as Sanders gets ready to take it. He's now reached Nick Kane. In terms of that lap traffic, clean space after this. White flag is out. Coming up to the 1 lap to go. Here in Chicago, brought to you by League Gaming.
Really tight battle here for P2. Fetter place to the back bumper of the 83 of Wortman here. You see up front there, glimpses of Sanders trying to get by Nick King. You're really wanting Nick King to pull over right now if you're Barry Sanders. Not Wortman to lose. It's going to let Fetter place by for P2. Does Wortman have enough to come back at him?
Able to slip around the outside. Jumps on up as a result. Sanders, meanwhile, still yet to lap King. The Warrior Racing Machine just trying to survive and finish things out. They maintain the lead lap, or will they be passed by the leader? They aren't letting the leader go. Through this lap, 1-2 seconds lost so far for Sanders, mind you. Fetter place has gotten it under 2 seconds. Fetter place is in the wall. Fetter place slammed the wall as Sanders now gets let go.
Nick King made it interesting for a moment there.
He did. And now Sanders has open space. Wortman Jr. trying to keep up for second. But it's Alford off for the lead. Barry Sanders will lock himself into the 2025 playoffs. He gets the win in the Victory Designs 110.
Great drive from the 81 of Barry Sanders. He talked to us before the race today, Justin. He said he had to win this race today. Thought it was his best chance of the season. Said he was going to do everything he could to get it done, and he went out there and backed up his words. A great drive from the 81. Perfect strategy. Executed all day long, despite the issues that he got caught up in with other drivers.
Survival is key in a race like this, and we've seen Sanders able to survive even with damage, able to prevail. Coffee, meanwhile, going to try and round up the top 9. This is not for position. Oh, and he's getting hit by his teammate. Lane Wilson, 7 laps down, bumping and banging with Coffee. They scrape the wall and crash at the line.
Not quite sure what went on there. Those two teammates getting into each other. You know, stuff after the line, you could toss it up to them, you know, maybe just not caring, but Blaine Wilson almost wrecked him before the finish and could have cost Coffee some positions there.
So Barry Sanders, the boss man, able to find his way up to the front. What a night for him here this evening. To be able to survive, he was able to keep up with his teammate before the incident. The incident sparked things for Sanders to burn it on down. Your celebration. And a visit for him to Van Louis Sticker's victory lane.
Steve Chad Canals told him to crack the rear end if he won this race tonight, so he put it in the wall there, but big celebration here, Barry Sanders. Congratulations to him. A really, really impressive win here.
Sanders knocking down all the walls in the midst of his celebration for the victory tonight here in Chicago. Hey, I guess you don't have to fix the damage after this. It is virtual, but it's a celebration for car 81. Let's take a step aside. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching Ballin' TV for tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. Welcome back, everyone, to Chicago for more coverage of the Victory Designs 110 here on Ballin' TV. An interesting race tonight, once again from Chicago. Barry Sanders survives to pick up the win by more than 2 seconds. Then Finneplace in second. Tim Wortman Jr. and Corey Moore with Matt Cox in the top 5. Timothy Harper finished off in 6th with Taylor, Gallimore, Coffee, and Medina, your top 10.
First driver missing on top end tonight. Kevin Rupp in 11th. Last one in the lead lap, followed by Nick Kane. We saw him getting lap lead, along with Chris Davis in 13th. Blaine Wilson finished 14th, followed by Nigel Christensen 15th, having some issues this evening, but he recovered nicely. Jameson Millimus finished in 16th, followed by Kyle Holden, tonight's biggest threat to win with some issues late, finished 17th. Caden Northfree, Sean Rodgers, and Johnny Shade rounded out our top 20.
Then rounding up the rest of the field here, 21st went to couple Huff, Wyatt, Clark amongst the DNFs, with Atwood also not taking the green flag essentially tonight. Basically had been at the back of the field with Carmichael and Mettler The rest of your attempted starters here, Carmichael and Mettler, did not take the green flag. That's a look at the top to bottom here tonight from the streets of Chicago. Let's take a chance to go once again to Van Louis Sticker's Victory Lane. Barry Sanders gets the win here tonight. How does it feel to be locked into the postseason for 2025?
I don't care right now. I'm having a shot of bourbon, buddy. It's been way too long since we've won one, so I'm super pumped. Locked into the playoffs. We'll worry about that here in a little bit, but we got a win. Super excited, man.
Talk to us about the chaos that reigned, it seemed, especially in stage 2 for you.
I don't even remember now, man. I was so locked in there at the end. Kyle was talking to me a little bit about what was going on behind me, but other than that, I don't even know, man. I know a couple people spun in front of me. Got a little bit of damage there, but wanted to stay focused and kind of keep my eye on the prize there. Not sure what happened with Tim. He got a little loose in front of me. He was really, really fast in front of me, so I didn't know if he's gonna be able to catch him or not. I was trying to save a little bit of tire, but a lot of chaos from what I hear behind us and a few in front of us. But we got the damn win, man. I couldn't be more happy right now because it's been a long damn time. So very, very happy. Drinking my bourbon, and I'm gonna definitely celebrate because I'm going to Las Vegas tomorrow and going to celebrate even harder.
Sounds like it here, but next time out we go to Sonoma. Your thoughts on going to wine country as well?
Well, I like road course racing, so I don't know if we'll be the fastest. I don't think we're the fastest today, but I know Kenny's a very dominant at Sonoma. Kyle's going to be good. Alex is going to be good. A lot of people were fast here tonight. Tim was good. I mean, Brandon Fetterplace came on there at the end. So, I mean, there's a lot of good road course drivers in here. So, I think going to Sonoma, it's really about who's got the speed and who puts the time in to, make it consistent. Limit your mistakes, if you will. So, I'm looking forward to Sonoma, another road course, and hopefully we can get number 2 there.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Man, I got a long list. Y'all have the time?
Yes, we do.
All right, man. So definitely want to give a shout out to all of our league sponsors. So that's All About Sheet Metal, League Gaming, Coney Hill Products, Crazy Chuck sponsored the last race. I always appreciate him with his Purple Jesus Moonshine. Richie at RS Button Boxes, Simrat Market. Cameron, thank you for sponsoring the league. Thomas Mullins Racing, as always. Van Lilly Stickers, OB Builders, Victory Designs for sponsoring tonight's race, Corridor Automotive, and thanks to Team Arrow. And also want to give a big shout out to Kyle Holden for helping me a little bit this week on, just tinkering with a little few things. So thank you to everybody that runs the league and supports us, and everybody that's watching out there. And of course, thanks Ballin TV and DJ, you all, for doing a great show for us. And thank you for just being here every night, and we can count on you to be here and put on a show and allow everybody, our family and friends, to watch this stuff, our little guilty pleasure, if you will.
Well, congratulations once again on the victory here tonight, Barry.
Thank you. You all have a good evening.
That's Barry Sanders coming away with the win here tonight. Brandon Fetterplace comes away in second, and our Team Arrow car, he's with Jeremy.
Brandon, we saw you charging late from the second position, trying to put together a bit of a run up towards your teammate Barry Sanders. What more did you need in the closing laps to get there and have a chance to fight him for that win?
Well, probably a handful more laps, I think. I was kind of reeling him in just a little bit, but Barry was pretty fast tonight. I knew from practice that he was definitely going to be a car to beat tonight, so I was pretty happy to see him up there and winning this thing.
Yeah, definitely looked impressive all night long. All your Arrow cars did. Obviously, we saw one of your teammates with some issues tonight. What was your key to staying out of the issues? We saw over half the field really DNFing and having major issues, but you relatively kept the car clean tonight. What was your key to success there?
I just knew this race was going to be pretty chaotic. So, I didn't try to push at all. I waited till, after restarts, give it a couple of laps, wait till the tires come up on temp, and wait till we kind of spaced ourselves out a little bit, and just find a decent rhythm. I mean, I didn't really start pushing until the very end there, just because, I didn't want to end up like everyone else. A lot of other drivers, they just made little mistakes here and there, and they ended up in the wall. And I just wanted to keep the car safe and see where it put me.
Well, looking forward to next week, moving to Sonoma, a little bit more of a traditional road course for these stock cars. Do you think that allows you to be more aggressive with your machine from an earlier position in the race and maybe put on more of a challenge for a win there?
I hope so. I feel I kind of know how that track runs, but there's a lot of fast guys in here, so it's going to be a little bit more of the same, except for there's a little bit more forgiveness there. Obviously, right? The walls aren't really on top of you there, so with little mistakes here and there, you can kind of get away with. So hopefully, we'll just try to take it easy again, and we'll see where it puts us.
Oh, absolutely. And who all gets it done for you on the 34 machine?
First and foremost, thanks to Team Arrow, Barry Sanders. It's so awesome that he won tonight. I'm really happy for him. Premier, for all the great setups that they give, and thanks to y'all for the broadcast, and thanks to everyone who watches these broadcasts, and we'll see y'all next week.
Well, we definitely look forward to watching you race next week. Congratulations on a great run.
Thank you very much.
Now going to move to Tim Wortman, our third place finishers with Justin.
Yes, indeed, Tim. You survived to be able to get the third. How would you describe your night?
It's a little disappointing that I wrecked in the first stage because I sure was wheeling this car with 5 minutes of damage with the wheels pointed at 11 o'clock the last stage there. I think she ran pretty good.
How difficult was it now then to drive the car with all this damage, you would think, and why?
It seemed like it drove better. I ran a race Thursday night, 50 laps or 50 some odd laps, and I wrecked it at lap 17. So I've got 20, 30 laps of racing with 5 minutes of damage. So I'm pretty good at it at this point.
So how do you plan to try and up this from Sonoma, I should say?
At road courses, this is pretty much par for where I finish at. I'm always right there at the edge of the podium. There's always somebody just a tick faster than me. Just gotta, do like I did at least the last half there. Just stay clean. I don't know why my car just turned right in the fountain into the wall. It hadn't done that to me all practice. I was practice crashes other places, but for some reason that one spot in the fountain, I'd never had that before. And just got to go to Sonoma and just keep the car clean and stay on track and work on track position and be there at the end.
Any shots you like to give here tonight?
Yeah, we're running our special scheme. We always run this for Chicago. We got 670 the score. WSER, my favorite sports talk radio station. Been listening to this for 20 years. Lots of fun memories on that station. It gave me the 83 number from a little bit they do on the station, and all my guys at Warrior Racing, Nick for putting this car together for me a couple of years ago when we first come here. I love coming to this track and getting to run this special paint. So shout out to Warrior Wraps. Just shout out to the guys at Ryko for a fast setup this week. Shout out to Barry for getting a win. I had a feeling with all the practice he put in that he was going to be the guy to beat tonight, and he's able to keep it clean and put it there. So,
congratulations on the podium, Tim.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Tim Wortman Jr. rounds out our top three. I'd like to thank him, Barry Sanders, Brandon Fetterplace for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Ballin TV. As mentioned, next time out, it's Sonoma. That'll be on July the 16th, 8 p.m. start time. Once again, be sure to tune in. Your thoughts on the road course action before we keep it up in one country.
Yeah, it was a great race here tonight. A lot of chaos. I picked the win, came home with it, so I'm pretty happy with that. Got one right here tonight with Barry Sanders, and really good winner to get right too. Really happy to see him win one. And moving into Sonoma, it's going to be a really impressive show there. You see a lot more cars not having the major issues like we saw tonight. Some more racing action. Drivers will be more comfortable at that racetrack for sure. So should put on a really good show.
We'll see what happens next time out here on Ballin' TV when we go to Sonoma. On that note, it's time to say goodbye from Chicago. From a co-announcer tonight, Jeremy Miller, from producer DJ Line, for everyone here at Ballin' TV. Big thank you for tuning in for the Victory Designs 110 to the OB Builders Cup Series here in the Moonshiners Racing League. Once again, congratulations to Barry Sanders. He gets the win here in Chicago. Good night from the Windy City.